The Meanest Doll in the World by Anne Martin and Laura Goodwin. Chapter 15. The Captain Comes Back. You know something, Annabelle? Said Tiffany, moving closer to her friend. I think that's a very interesting idea. I really do. Tiffany glared around at the other dolls. Why, Tiffany is right, of course, said Mama Doll after a moment. Yes, Annabelle, you've come up with a most interesting idea. You never know what positive thinking might accomplish. It can't hurt, said Dad Funcraft. Well, we'll certainly try to incorporate it into our plan, said Auntie Sarah. Annabelle didn't answer them. She edged away from Tiffany and sat quietly apart from the others while they discussed plans for trapping Mean Mimi. She knew her friends and family were just being nice to her. They probably even felt sorry for her. Well, thought Annabelle, they could go ahead and feel sorry. That was their problem, not hers. The dolls and the Funcrafts didn't end the meeting of NDA until it was nearly time for the Palmers to wake up. Dad Funcraft, Bailey, and baby Brittany were about to return to Nora's room when Tiffany said, Hey, we never decided where Annabelle and I should go. Where do you think Kate and Nora would expect to find us? They didn't notice us after we came back yesterday, said Annabelle. But I guess we should return to where they had left us before we went on the exploration, with Auntie Sarah. Yes, that sounds the safest, agreed Papa. So the Funcrafts hurried off, except for Mom, who was the one on the heap of the parlor floor of the doll's house. Annabelle, many days earlier, a lifetime earlier, she thought, had been sitting awkwardly in the kitchen before she had left on the exploration with Auntie Sarah. Now she returned to her spot, and she began to worry. She had a long list of things to worry about. Whether the Funcrafts would reach their home safely, whether Kate would notice that Annabelle had been missing and then had mysteriously returned, whether Mean Mimi had been hiding in Kate's room and had overheard the discussions at NDA. And then she remembered her plan: positive thinking and deep breathing. She set her worries aside and instead imagined the Funcrafts walking calmly through the hallway, encountering no one, and quietly entering their home while Nora slept on. Then she imagined Kate waking and going about her morning without so much as a glance at the dollhouse. She tried to imagine Mimi somewhere in the Palmer's house, far from Kate's room. But she didn't want to think about what Mimi might be doing, so she practiced her deep breathing instead. Breathe in, breathe out. Calm, calm, calm. Several hours later, the last of the Palmers had left for school or work or errands, and Annabelle heard only empty house noises. She glanced into the parlor and called softly, Papa, can we move about now? Papa, can we move about now? A sing-song voice mimicked from below. Without waiting for permission, Annabelle leaped from her chair and leaned over the edge of the dollhouse. Who said that? Auntie Sarah demanded to know. She peered down from her bedroom. Who said that? Repeated the voice. Mean Mimi stood at the foot of the stool, feet planted wide apart, her hands on her hips. Is that you, Mimi? Called Papa Doll. Is that you, Mimi? Called Mimi. Young lady, I don't care for that behavior, said Nanny. Young lady, I don't care for that behavior, said Mean Mimi. She grinned. Stop that this instant, cried Uncle Doll. Stop that this instant, cried Mimi. Bobby joined Annabelle at the edge of the dollhouse. I'm a whiny little toad, he shouted. I'm a whiny little toad, said Mimi. See, she admits it, Bobby exclaimed triumphantly. She's a whiny toad and she admits it. Annabelle began to laugh. You're the one true queen of all dolls, Annabelle, she yelled. She smiled down at Mimi, waiting. Mimi marched huffily out of the room. Ha! You can't even play your own game, Bobby called after her. Several minutes later, Tiffany and Bailey peeked into Kate's room. Is the coast clear? Bailey called softly. All clear. Come on up, replied Bobby. Tiffany and Bobby and Bailey sat at the top step of the stool and laughed as Annabelle and Bobby told them about Mimi and her game. I think you ought to be careful, though, said Papa Doll from the kitchen. I'm not sure you want to provoke her. Ha, said Bobby. But that night, not 10 minutes after Kate had turned out her light, Annabelle was startled by a noise that seemed to come from outside the Barbie camper. It was a small clatter, the sound of plastic hitting wood. A moment later, she heard a second clatter, and then a third, and a fourth. Had Kate gotten out of bed? Annabelle tried to see through the darkened room. She was fairly certain that Kate lay unmoving under her covers. Clatter, clatter. The captain? Annabelle didn't see him. And then, hee hee! Annabelle stifled a scream. Mama, she said in a loud whisper. I know, Mama replied softly. What should we do? Asked Bobby. Chase her out of the room? No, Annabelle whispered, remembering her plan. Don't do anything. But she's going to wake Kate up, Nanny hissed. And if Kate wakes up, she'll see that we're all exactly where she left us, replied Annabelle. But what is she going to think about this strange doll who's running all around her room? Asked Uncle Doll. Annabelle could see that he was twisting his hands. Well, said Annabelle. Rumors, said Papa Doll with a small moan. This is how they start, and they spread quickly. Despite herself, a chill ran through Annabelle. The next morning, Kate's floor was awash in tiny toys, old Barbie accessories, jacks, pieces from a game of Monopoly, a plastic horse, Mr. Potato Head's eyes. Annabelle watched nervously as Kate woke up and sat on the edge of her bed. She rubbed her eyes. She yawned. And then she looked at the floor. Frowning, she leaned over and fingered the piece of the plastic horse. She dropped it and reached for the Barbie purse. Still frowning, she gathered up all the toys and set them in a pile on her desk. Nora, she called. Annabelle breathed a sigh of relief, but she wondered how long Kate would be able to blame Nora for Mimi's messes. That night, the NDA met again. This has become urgent, said Auntie Sarah. We must trap Mimi quickly. Why not trap her right here in the camper? Suggested Papa. That would be efficient. Trap her there and keep her there. The dolls agreed that this was a good idea, and for the rest of the night, and one after that, they worked on a plan. Mimi was busy too. On the first night, she tried to set up a missile launch in Nora's room, like the one she'd built at BJ's house. But she couldn't find enough pieces to track. In the morning, Nora discovered 4 pieces of railway track and 6 small cars on her floor and called her mother in to look at them. Mrs. Palmer scratched her head, and the Funcrafts held their breath. The next night, while the dolls finalized their plan, Mimi located an old action figure at the bottom of Kate's toy chest and tried to order it around, but it just stared vacantly at the wall. She left it sitting on the top of the chest, and Kate shrieked when she saw it the next morning. Our plan goes into action immediately, said Papa Doll the moment the Palmers had left the house. Quickly now, get to work. Annabelle ran to Nora's room to alert the Funcrafts. Then, working swiftly and quietly, since they didn't know where Mean Mimi might be lurking, the dolls opened the door to the Barbie camper and tied one length of string to the handle. They fastened the other to the end of the leg on Kate's desk. A pink shoelace, nearly invisible against the pink camper, was tied to a latch at the bottom of the open door, and a bell was attached to it. And now for the best part, said Tiffany. The lure. Tiffany placed a sparkly silver doll's tiara in the doorway of the camper. She had found it under Nora's bed. Mean Mimi won't be able to resist this, she exclaimed. Another crown. It's perfect for a princess, perfect for a queen. All right, said Dad Funcraft. This is serious. Let's be sure we know what we're supposed to do. We haven't got much time. Not if we want to trap Mimi before Grandma Catherine comes back. She'll be the first one home. As usual, Auntie Sarah took over. Mrs. Funcraft, she said, you hide somewhere near the camper. The rest of us will hide in Kate's room, except for Annabelle and Tiffany. You two call Mimi. Taunt her, tease her, do whatever is necessary to get her to come into the room, but don't let her see you. When she spots the tiara, she'll enter the camper, tripping over the shoelace, which will make the bell ring. As soon as you hear the bell, Auntie Sarah continued, looking at Mom Funcraft, cut the string. The door will slam shut and we'll help you fasten the latch. Mimi will be trapped inside. But what if she makes noise? Asked Nanny nervously. What if she bangs around inside the camper while Kate is in her room? What if? We can't think about the what ifs right now, replied Auntie Sarah. We have agreed that we must trap her. So let's trap her. Come on, time's a wasting. The dolls took their places. Annabelle and Tiffany stood in Kate's doorway. Annabelle called, Mimi, oh Mimi, where are you? And Tiffany shouted, come and get us, Mimi, come and... Tiffany, I think I hear something, cried Annabelle. I do. I hear footsteps. Hide! Annabelle and Tiffany ducked back into Kate's room and slid under her dresser. The footsteps grew louder. In a matter of seconds, the bell rang. Then Annabelle heard a small bang, which she hoped was the camper door closing. And then she heard a great, horrid, enormous clatter, followed by an angry meow. Annabelle peeked out from beneath the dresser and gasped when she saw the captain, the shoelace caught on his collar, tear out of Kate's room with the camper crashing along behind him. At the same time, she heard a car door slam and knew that Grandma Catherine had come home. Uh-oh, said Annabelle.